So I was writing a post this morning and I just felt compelled to come on here and speak from the heart. Because I really felt that just writing and posting it wasn't going to create the impact or my intention of creating the impact that I hopefully will create. So I'm going to share a little bit more about my story and about the battles that I've had with these numbers, not just on the scale, but the size of the clothes, right? Because for years I fought the battle of the scale and defining a size I wanted to get into. That was my focus. That's all I was focused on, was letting the number on the scale and letting the size define who I was. And I would start most of my days off jumping on the scale, obsessed, with the thought that it would magically appear that my body would weigh less just because I slept overnight. And most of the time, majority of the time, the scale wouldn't move. So I had this concept in my head that, let me step off of here. Let me give it a few seconds, reset, and I'll jump back on. And it stayed the same. Like I had this concept in my head that it would miraculously change because I gave the scale a rest for a couple seconds. So then I would just say, well, it's not my friend today. So then I would be like, okay, here we go. I'm making the commitment today to do better, to eat healthier and to make better choices. And then halfway in the day, I would decide tomorrow would be a better day. Nope, tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow is going to be the better day. I'll keep my promise to eat healthier tomorrow. So then that would end up resulting in, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. So I'm going to eat whatever I can today to get it all in because I can't have it anymore. That was my mindset. That was my disordered eating cycle of going into this all-out binge the day before because I had this concept in my head that I could never have that stuff again. And that is far from the truth. Food doesn't have to be your enemy. Food can be your friend. It's just how you look at it, right? I mean, I thought about it, craved, and I arranged my entire life around food. Until that day that I hit rock bottom. And that day I hit rock bottom, I knew I had to surrender by asking myself a really raw and real question. And if you get anything out of this little chat today, this is the one thing that I want you to pay attention to and get really clear and raw with yourself on and get real. So the question that I asked myself that day when I hit rock bottom was this: is it possible that I love and rely on food because I'm craving something else in my life? And what is that something else? I'm going to ask that again. Is it possible that I'm relying and craving and loving food because I'm craving something else in my life? And what is that something else? Powerful question. Take a pause and think about it. I had to see the purpose of my struggle as something more than wearing a smaller size and the number on the scale, or even getting compliments from other people when I would lose the weight. I had to get honest enough with myself to admit that I was focusing on the wrong reasons to take charge of my health. It was all about the size or the number on the scale. I was focusing on letting numbers define my happiness and who I was. And what was it getting me? It was getting me nothing. And it was keeping me in that vicious cycle. Food was my reward. Food was my vice. Food was my crutch. Food was what I turned to in every emotion of my life, whether it be stress, whether it be sadness, whether it be happiness, whether it be boredom. They're all emotions. Or is it avoidance? What are you avoiding? I needed to take a hard look within and learn and understand what was eating at me. Because until I realized what was eating at me, nothing was going to change. And what was it that I was truly craving? In other words, what was missing in my life that I truly wanted? What was it? And why was that important to me once I figured that out? And what difference was that going to make in my life? And why would all that matter? And now I'm going to ask you another really powerful question that I discovered. That I had to go within and really think about. And that other question was, do I have a healthy relationship with myself? In other words, I had to learn to love myself, just as I was in the moment. Because it wasn't about the number on the scale, and it wasn't about the size of the clothes. I had to truly go within and learn to love myself for who I was right in that moment. And when I truly understood what that meant, that began to help me to change the way I look at food. There's a famous quote by Ryan Holiday, who wrote the book, The Obstacle is the Way. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. And when I realized food was my obstacle, but food became my way. Because when I learned to love myself and fully embrace me in the moment, and really take a hard look at my food story and my relationship with food, that helped me change the way I looked at food. And when I changed the way I looked at food, that was pure freedom. So I hope you take one insight away from this little chat this morning. And if you feel stuck and you feel overwhelmed and you just don't know where to start, I would love to connect. Schedule an insight call with me. You can go to my website at mariaallshouse.com. And during that call, I'm going to invite you to be present. And I'm going to invite you and for you to open up the possibility that the reason why you're on the call with me that day is not the reason why you think you are. And I know that's a pretty interesting question, or statement, I should say. And it's my goal on that call to help you walk away with one insight that will help you take action so that you can start to take charge of your health. I can't say this enough. When you change the way you look at food, your life is going to change. And when you figure out what's going on here inside and peeling back that onion, it's going to awaken you to possibilities, and it's going to help you live that active, vibrant, healthy life that you're craving. So I hope something resonated with you today, and I hope that you have a blessed day.